Hi, this is your Hurricane Tracker video update recorded August 27th, 2011 at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Well, the main story today that you've been hearing so much about is Category 1 Hurricane Irene, and we'll discuss her in just a moment. And we do have a weak disturbance, Invest 91L, the National Hurricane Center has highlighted, but we're not going to discuss that system as there's really no chance of it developing. Of course, we have Hurricane Irene made landfall this morning down there on the southeastern North Carolina coastline as a very strong hurricane, and it's taken pretty much all day to traverse the state of North Carolina. She's been moving very slowly at about 13-14 miles an hour to the northeast, and major flooding has been ongoing here in east central North Carolina, as well as tons of trees and power lines down. Throughout the Virginia and North Carolina region, about 1 million customers are without electricity. And unfortunately, there's been some fatalities from the effects of Irene, and we just don't like to hear that happening. We want to try to keep everybody as safe as possible here. But she is a large storm, one of the largest storms in history, and she's moving off to the northeast. And if you've been watching the Weather Channel, Jim Cantori is up in Manhattan, and he said he's never seen outer rain bands that far ahead of a storm before, for a storm that's still over 400 miles away. So as far as the size of Irene, definitely very impressive. You can see despite she's moved inland for the most part, she still has a very well-defined center of circulation. Some very heavy feeder bands with rainfall rates of about 1 to 2 inches an hour here in these darker orange areas. There's been a ton of rain that has fallen today between Newport News and Richmond. I'll show you a graphic on that in just a moment. Especially down here where these green boxes are, flood warnings are ongoing for North Carolina, where a lot of places have picked up 15 to 20 inches of rain due to the slow movement of Irene as she moved onshore this morning. Now, right now, half of the circulation is over water and half is over the northeastern part of North Carolina. So, and this is pretty much going to be the case as she moves northeast up the coast. This is the reason she's going to be able to maintain hurricane intensity, is because part of that circulation will be drawing in and feeding off of the ocean waters and keeping her as a fairly healthy system all the way up into New York City. Now, short-term Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, you're just now getting into the northern edge of Irene's inner core. Here within this region, you can expect easily sustained winds 55 to 60 with gust over hurricane force. And this will take several hours to move through, and you'll have torrential downpours of about 1 to 1.5 inches of rain per hour. Now, the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center, no change in the track, takes her right over New York City as a Category 1 hurricane, and then she weakens to a tropical storm as she moves northeastward up into northeastern New England. Hurricane warnings are in effect for basically from Virginia all the way north up to Boston, Massachusetts. Winds have decreased a little bit down to 80 miles an hour. She's moving to the northeast, as I stated, about 13 miles an hour. Now, this red shaded area where she's going to move just off the coast is where you can expect the strongest winds, anywhere from 60-65 miles an hour with gusts over 70-75 at times. So as far as wind impacts, this area here, basically in the red and even the yellow, could get some very strong wind gusts, which will easily blow down trees, power lines, and unfortunately knock out more electricity to millions of more Americans as tonight and tomorrow rolls through. And here's a little closer view. I've got a map showing basically the same region that's going to be affected. I've got some of the cities on here. You can see Irene's going to move just to the east. Her center core will be just on into the east of Virginia Beach, and they'll be going through that part of the system this evening. It'll push up the Delmarva Peninsula, up through Delaware, Ocean City, along the New Jersey coast. This is why storm surge is going to be such a problem, anywhere from 4 to 8 feet for a lot of coastal communities, and especially down here on the coastal front of Virginia Beach and Norfolk. As the storm moves northeast, the winds are going to switch around to the north and just push all that water it's brought into the Chesapeake down into that area, and there will be storm surge on the order of 4 to 8, maybe even 9 feet in some areas. And again, this will continue to move northeast and almost a near perfect track right over New York City and western Long Island. And this is why Mayor Bloomberg of New York has been taking everything so seriously, is because this forecast track has been essentially unchanged for the last 2 days. And along with storm surge in and around Manhattan and Long Island, obviously the flooding rains of 6 to 12 inches are going to be a big problem. And even wind, with all the huge skyscrapers in New York City, as you get higher in altitude, the winds get 20-30% stronger for every 25, 50 stories you go. And a lot of that glass is going to be susceptible to that stronger wind. And unfortunately, some glass should be blown out. So during the height of the storm, you do not want to be in Manhattan. You want to be as far away as possible. And just hunker down in a safe location. Do not go outside would be the best advice we could give at this time. Now, of course, really the main event with Irene is going to be the flooding. As you can see, anywhere on average 9 to 11 inches still forecasted here along the track of Irene. And from what's already happened here in southern Virginia, some areas have already had over a foot of rain, and while others have had 6 inches, that's fairly common in the red shaded area. And the lighter red is about 8 inches of rain. So as the storm moves northeast, this area of heavy rain is just going to slowly move northeast with it, right along the coast into Baltimore, D.C., Philadelphia. Get ready for a very wet night and a very early morning. And again, for the major cities of the Northeast, the winds and the rain will be picking up by later tonight and into tomorrow morning, with the height of the storm for New York City sometime early to mid-morning tomorrow. We'll be back with another video update tomorrow afternoon, and of course we'll be providing ongoing audio updates and live updates via our live Twitter feed within the app. Thanks so much for watching this video update. Hope we find this helpful. And if you're in the path of Irene, please do everything you can to stay as safe as possible. And we'll check in with you in a little while. Thanks for being a Hurricane Tracker customer. Have a great evening, everybody.